Then ahead of Tranmere away in the first leg of the playoffs, Mark, how important was it that when you rested some people at the weekend against Exeter, you still got a result, you kept the momentum going, and I suppose people put their hands up for selection?
The key point was to rest the players that we rested, to make them, or try and keep them fresh for Friday night. And there was no other motive, there was no other issue with that. Yeah, people get an opportunity to play and to show that if there are problems that they're ready to go into the team.
And how strong is the benefit of resting players? When do we see it? Do we see that on the pitch? I mean, is it one that we could see in one, maybe 2 games' time? When does that benefit kick in, if you like?
Well, we will only see from the games that we're going to play. Doesn't guarantee anything. It just means that we're trying to do the right thing and try and get some freshness back into the legs of players that have played a lot of minutes recently.
Because of that, has training been any sharper this week as a result?
Training's always sharp. The way we play, the way we train, it has to be sharp. But you can train as well as you want. It's about on the day or on the night, and we have to make sure that we take that into the game.
How much mental strength is required to go there and perform? Because obviously, big ground, the atmosphere is going to be up. You went there a few weeks ago and beat them. That annoyed them as well.
Listen, we're full of respect for everything to do with Tranmere, the supporters, the players, the staff, and we know it's going to be an incredibly tough game. And you don't get into a playoff and think or expect an easy game or get an easy game. We know to be able to go to Tranmere and compete, we have to be at our very best, and we're under no illusions of that. And we know it's going to be a tough game. Hopefully, it's going to be a good game. And we perform to our capabilities.
Because of Good Friday, you know you can go there and get a result. Does that change anything in terms of the mentality for either team?
No, it doesn't change anything for us. We've not even thought about that game. That game's gone. We work strictly on the next game, and that game means nothing now. It's about Friday night and who performs on the night.
I know you work on the next game, as you say, but because this is a 2-legged tie, does that change any of the dynamics?
Not for us, not really. I'm not sure we're particularly set up to try and play for a draw or whatever. We want to go and try and win the game, and I'm sure Tranmere are the same. We just want to try and still be in the tie if we can come Monday night.
Yeah, I suppose it's important to not be out of it by then, isn't it? Because obviously it's 180 minutes.
After the last 2 nights, I'm not sure what out of it is. You know, you've seen 2 sensational performances from 2 English teams that give every footballer or every football supporter a lift that their teams never did.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's inspiration. It can also be a reminder, can't it? Just because of the drama of what this crazy game can actually throw at you.
Exactly that. You have to be on your guard if you're winning the whole time. And if you're losing, you have to never give up and keep going right to the very end.
How much more difficult is facing Tranmere because you both know each other so well?
I think people are going to try and make more of it than it is because it's Tranmere or it's Forest Green. It is another game. It's about on the day. It's who performs on the day, and it's as simple as that.
And it's about, I suppose, writing the next chapter in the history of the battles between you rather than the previous ones.
That's right. Like I've said, we're full of respect for everything to do with them, and then they've got some really good players and good staff, and we know it's going to be a tough game.
Injuries, everyone okay?
Yes, for fully fit squad to pick from, yeah.
Wow, at this stage of the season, that's impressive. George Williams, obviously, you weren't risking last weekend. How close is he to being in contention?
He's back, he's fit, he'll be involved tomorrow night.
And to have that and to be in that position, that must just be really pleasing.
To have somebody of George's quality available to use tomorrow night is fantastic for us.
Terrific. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Mark, you've been in some big games in your managerial career. Where does this one rank?
It's a big one, yeah, because it's A, it's the next one, and B, of what's at stake, and we're aware of that, but you have to remain fully focused and not get too carried away about thinking what's at stake. got to play the game. You know, it's about the game and making sure that we know what we've got to do, what's important. It's about managing key moments. You know, trying to score when you're on top, defending when you're not. And like I say, making sure you concentrate the whole time.
How pumped are you and the team for tomorrow night?
I think pump's a strong word. It's about being focused and quietly confident and concentrated on what we've got to do. Because if we get too excited and then we lose sight of what we're trying to do, then it can become an issue. But we're looking forward to it.
And do you think your players can cope with the cauldron that is going to be Prenton Park?
We've done it. We have done it before. You know, we've played in big games and I think it's one that you have to embrace. The players, I spoke to the players about. These are the games that you want to play in as a player, and you know when you retire, you look back on these games and you're proud that you were part of it.
Yeah. Do you think it shows how far Forest Green have come when you've matched them to someone like Tranmere? I mean, there's a great big chasm, isn't there?
Tranmere's a big club. You know, played Championship football for a lot of years, and they're steadily and gradually building the club and back in the right way. And we've come from a long way down, and it is a big club that we're playing against. But it's about two teams on the pitch. It's about 22 players, and see who comes out on top.
They've done remarkably well, really, considering when you think it's their first season back in the Football League.
Yeah, brilliant. They've had an unbelievable run from Christmas and looked as though they were going to get in with a real shout of automatic promotion. And yeah, they should be really proud of their achievements.
What are your thoughts on Mickey Mellon as a manager? I think, if my memory serves me right, you may have been at Bristol City together when you were youngsters.
Both young players there, and very competitive player, good player, and he's done brilliantly as a manager. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game.
Yeah. With Tranmere, is it all about James Norwood, or is there more to Tranmere's team than James Norwood?
Yeah, of course, they've got some good players. He's a big part of it. When you have the top scorer in the league, it means that you always have a chance. Got some really good players. Connor Jennings is a really good player. Perkins in midfield, really experienced. Ollie Banks, players like that. They've got a lot of good players all through the team, and we have to be on top form to get a result.
There's a lot of rumours that he may be going off to Ipswich, so he'll obviously want to give his all.
I'm sure James is desperate to go out on a high and try and get Tranmere promoted. And if he does get a move, good luck to him. He's had a brilliant season.
Yeah. Finally, just one more from me. You've been practising penalties at all?
I think it's foolish not to. I'm still not convinced that you can recreate the situation as it would be in a game of this magnitude. But I think you'd be foolish not to. And not for 1 minute do I want it to go to penalties and somebody to lose like that.
Yeah, all the very best.
Thank you.
Cheers.